Well, I want to welcome everyone back to our next session of the afternoon. And this promises to be one of those things where you better be paying attention. This is a lot of content. And I'm really just looking forward to seeing how Michael is going to get all this in. It should be fun. Next up, we have Michael Sauers, the Technology Innovation Librarian here at the Library Commission. And his presentation is entitled 40 Tech Tools and Tips in 20 minutes. So I don't want to take up any more of your time.
All right. Well, you gave me a half an hour. So, all right. And all of these slides are going to have a little timer on them, too. So if I go past 30 seconds, I have to go to the next slide. But I will say, too, that's self-imposed timer. Although it's not fully automatic. I still have to hit the space bar. I couldn't quite figure out the fully automatic thing. But there's an on-screen timer. Some of these will probably not take a full 30 seconds to talk about, so I will just, jump through it as we get there. So maybe we'll get done a little ahead of time for questions. Also, I'll give you a warning. I have not, I think with the exception of 2 slides, I have not included any actual URLs in this presentation because just Google it. I mean, it is the first thing that will come up. I mean, really, all of these things, when there's a URL involved, if you type the name of the service into Google, it will be the first thing that comes up. So, we're not only are we librarians, we're the tech people, so we should be able to Google things. All right. These are in kind of a rough order of similar things together, but we'll see how it goes. So we'll get to the first. Whoop, I got to click on the slide to do it. There we go. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to talk about here is Down for Everyone or Just Me. This is one of those wonderful sites where you try to go to Twitter and it doesn't work, or you try to go to Google and it doesn't work. And so what you do is you go here, you type in the URL of the site you're trying to get to. I've already got somebody in the room who's happy about my first tip, and say, is it up or is it down? And it can say it's just you, Twitter is up, or no, it seems to be down for everybody. Basically, it's like calling a friend and saying, will you see if this works for you or not? So there we go. That was about 29 seconds. Okay, let's talk about some privacy and security. This is a plugin for pretty much all major browsers out there. It's from the EFF. It's called HTTPS Everywhere. This is a security thing, especially with the Heartbleed bug and things like that have happened lately. You install this plugin, and there's customizations involved. But basically, if there's a secure version of the website, it will automatically redirect you to the secure version of the website instead of using the unsecure version of the website. Now, with Heartbleed, whether or not it's really secure is a separate issue, but this is something I run in all of my browsers, kind of help you out a little bit. Okay, also on security, how secure is my password? You go here, you type in your password, you click submit, and it will do a little math. I don't know how fuzzy this math, how solid this math is. But I've used this with some coworkers, and they'll email me back, and they're like, ooh, it says it will take 5 trillion years to back my password. It's just going to tell you how really good or crappy your password is. If you type in password, it's going to take like less than a second. Here's one of my sample passwords, 465 million years. So, give you a good idea, a nice, easy way to figure out how good your password is. Speaking of passwords, we want to be doing good passwords. I could do a whole presentation on LastPass. I've just started using it myself. I had over 600 passwords that I use on various sites and things like that. I now know about 3 of them. I store all 16 to 20 character completely random passwords in LastPass. I plug it into my browser. It integrates. It keeps track of all my passwords, and it encrypts them. So I just have to remember the one master password, completely free. There are some pay-for services you can get, and it will test sites for Heartbleed, so something you might want to check out. All right, also on security. Many of us have heard of Tor. Tor is the Onion router. Well, this is a browser called the Tor browser based on Firefox, so it's going to work very similar to that, but it builds in using the Tor network. So it's not necessarily secure. It's going to enforce a little more privacy. So it's not like going to look like you're coming from where you're coming from. It's going to route all of your traffic through many other computers on the network and give you a little more privacy and a little more ability to control what other people may or may not know about your browsing. Voila. Many of us use Dropbox. Dropbox is a great cloud storage service. Think of Voila as Dropbox, but with built-in encryption. Dropbox does actually have access to your files. You've got a master password. If you lose that password, you've lost all your files. It is completely encrypted, completely secure. That being said, it then is slower than Dropbox when you upload or download stuff because it has to encrypt it or decrypt it. But if you want really secure storage, you can share with people, do all these things, but it's encrypted cloud storage and also completely free. JustDelete.me. Basically, this is a website where I cannot figure out how to get rid of my Adobe account or my Airbnb account or my Facebook account. This is basically an index that's going to tell you how easy to hard it is to delete account on the service, and it will link you directly to that service's here's where you delete your account page. So if you're not sure where to go to actually delete an account, you can check here, and it will give you some information about how to pull it off and give you a direct link to where to pull it off. Keep vid. I have a nice big screen TV at home. I don't always want to watch my videos on my little laptop screen or whatnot. KeepVid is a service that will allow you to download and save local copies of things like YouTube videos and Vimeo videos. You know, copyright, we're not going to go there, but I can, you know, download videos, watch them later on my big television, save them to a flash drive, embed them into a PowerPoint, things like that. So it's been buggy a little bit lately, but generally I think it's my machine that I'm using it on, not it. Speedtest.net. So, internet running slow. You want to check to see if it's slower than usual. Speedtest.net is great. Yes, we've got 74 megabits a second here. I ran this here at the office. So we're on the state network. We've got pretty good speed. At home, this will rate me at about 24 megabits per second on my DSL line. It'll test ping, download speed, upload speed. You can then also submit this data to a database and compare it to other people who are on the same ISP as you. So when I think my internet's running slow, I generally can use this to figure out if it's really me or it's the whole service. So switching gears a little bit, CompFight. CompFight is the service I use to search Flickr for content, usually to get pictures. One of the things that is hiding under my little timer there is I can limit to just Creative Commons related content. Yes, you can do all this by searching in Flickr, but Flickr's searching and results are not the greatest. I like this big screen full of lots of pictures. I click on any one of them, it will take me to Flickr to actually download the content and things like that. So
I did just see, I know you have your 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I did just see a recent thing that Flickr did improve their searching for this type of thing.
It's getting better.
I haven't tested it myself, but they said it's better than it used to be.
Yeah, right. I still like CompFight. Okay,
I use it too, yes.
Cute PDF Editor. This is an online PDF editing package. You upload your PDF document into it. You can merge documents. You can extract pages out of documents. You can rotate. You can crop. So it's like basic photo editing, but for PDF documents. The only catch is the free version. You are limited to a 10 megabyte file. So you know, if you've got a 400-page report, you're not going to be using this service unless you pay for it. But I've done a lot of scanning and then cropping with my PDFs through this. Isbin.nu. This is actually a book search service and price comparison service. Oh, I got to start my timer there. You can search by Isbin, title, author, or do an advanced search. In this case, I just did a simple search for Dean Koontz. It's giving me the newest books, even books that aren't coming out first. Now, I don't generally use this for price comparison. What I do is I subscribe to an RSS feed for authors that I watch, like Dean Koontz, and then as new books get added to this service, sometimes before even Amazon has it listed, I'll know that a new book's coming out, and I'll have the ISBN, and then I can go and buy it or pre-order it or do things there. Free and discounted ebooks. Here are a whole bunch of services. The only one that is not obvious is that P in the middle. That one's for a service called Pixel of Ink. All the rest of them, you can tell by their logo what they're called. Most of these I get emails every day or so with free and discounted ebook content. The mid-list gives you 2 a day. One's free, one's usually 99 cents. My favorite one I got to say is probably Book Gorilla. Sometimes it's for major publishers, sometimes it's independent stuff and stuff you never know you ever wanted to read or not. So there's a whole bunch of free services. Now, if you're looking to read books before they come out, a lot of the publishers are now doing electronic advanced reader copies. 2 major services you want to be aware of. NetGalley, which is one I live on, and I just got the next John Scalzi novel. Haha, I'm going to start reading that tonight. NetGalley, basically you sign up and you say, yeah, I promise I'll write reviews, and I usually do. Edelweiss tends to be the bigger publishers like Random House and Simon & Schuster, and they want you to jump through all sorts of hoops and even say in advance what you plan on doing with the review you're going to write and blah. I use NetGalley. It's easy to use. Edelweiss, a lot more complicated, but possibilities there. .epub. This service you install as a bookmark, which I'm showing on the right. In the middle there are the options. You get a web page and long document. You want to read it. What this will do is turn it into either an EPUB or a MOBI file, which you can then transfer to your e-reader, and it will generally also strip out all of the ads and all of the other weird things. So if you like pulling documents down into an e-reader, this is a great service that will do. Sometimes it doesn't work as well as you would think, so you got to test it, but I use it quite regularly. And speaking of this, I'm just going to throw this out there. Yes, this is a program that will remove DRM. That's completely up to you. I'm not saying I've ever actually used this program, but it is showing, hey, you've got some Adobe content there, you've got some Kindle books there. If you were to click that button over there, it would remove the DRM. That's all I'm saying. I'm told it works. We'll leave it at that, and I'm getting giggles out of the room here. So, all right. Instapaper. I love this. This is kind of falls under that category of too long, didn't read. Yes, I have bookmarks, but bookmarks are for things I constantly go back to. What I use Instapaper for is I want to read this later. And so it's things I mean to get back to. And yeah, here's that cool video. I probably shouldn't watch it at the office. I should probably watch it when I get home. So I'll put it into Instapaper. Now, there are lots of features. You can organize things into folders. You can strip out the ads and do all sorts of other things. I usually kind of use it as a temporary bookmark, stuff I'm going to get back to sort of service. Readability. Put this one up there because it's not obvious in the title there. Oops, start. In this case, where the .epub turns it into an EPUB or a MOBI file, this just reformats it. So there's the article on the left on the Vanity Fair website. On the right is what the article looks like after I clicked my readability button in my browser. So it kind of makes it bigger text, makes it bigger margins. You can customize this, strips out all the extraneous stuff, and just makes it, here is a nice, easy-to-read version of what you were just looking at. It has Instapaper-like features also, but I generally just use this for making things easier to read. To make things easier to print, this is the equivalent of that. So if you want to send it straight to the printer, you run the web page through this print-friendly service, and it will pull out, kind of like what readability did for the screen. This will send it, directly to the printer. They do kind of do the same sort of thing, but if you're definitely going to want to print it out, this one might be a little more to get used to. On these services, I do want to stress, though, tests. It doesn't always work exactly as well as you think it should, but more often than not, it does. Okay, changedetection.com. This is for those websites where you want to know when they've changed the page, but they don't have like an RSS feed or something like that. There's a couple small publisher websites I watch where they just have a news page, and when there's something new, they just add some new text up at the top with a date. Well, but there's no feed. There's nothing to subscribe to. So what I do is I throw that into changedetection.com. I can tell it how often to check. I can share this with other people, and then every month or so when they change that page, I get an email saying, hey, here's what's changed, or just click to go read the page as it is. All right, let's talk about some browser options. This one's just for Chrome. This is if you are one of those people who like to clear your browser data on a regular basis. There's a keyboard shortcut to get to it. Just instead of going into the hamburger menu and then going into settings and then figuring out which tab it is and all these other things, just press Control-Shift-Delete, and it will take you directly to your clear browsing data page screen, and then you can check or uncheck as appropriate and click your clear browsing data button to erase things like passwords and download history and browsing history. This is Farah or Farah Now, kind of depends on where you go. This is package tracking. I'm sorry, I order a lot online. I love to track my packages. What I forgot to get a screenshot over on the right was it will even plot it out on a Google map for you as to where your package currently is, but it will tell you, out for delivery today, it's in transit, it's due in 2 days, it's been delivered, and all I've got to do, and I didn't start my timer on this, I apologize, all you've got to do is you get that little email from the company saying, hey, we've shipped your package and here's the tracking number. You forward it to an email address of Farah, it knows it's coming from you, and it adds it to your account. Okay. Just off it goes. And then you can get like text messages when it's been delivered or emails and all sorts of really cool stuff. So if you like to follow your packages, use this service. Okay, this one's called Invisible Hand. This is another browser plugin. I think it works across multiple browsers. Works across many different sites. In this case, I brought up a book in Amazon. Oops, I screwed up my timer. And in this case, it says, hey, I noticed you're looking at this book by Dean Koontz and Amazon. By the way, here are the prices for this book at other services. And you can click straight through. It will also notify you if there are public coupons available for the website you're on. So if you like to comparison shop, Invisible Hand. Okay, Google has a built-in timer. Not a lot of people know this, but in this case, I just went to Google and I put in set a 7-minute timer, and I get a timer on the screen, and it will count down. And you can go full screen, you can stop it, you can reset it. It will beep at you when it's done, saying, "Hey." It will do a sound effect when the countdown is done. And there's a little blue line above the blue and stop and reset, or it's a gray line that will fill in as your countdown is happening. So you'll get a visual cue also. Use Google as a countdown timer. All right, mail drop. This I forgot to use yesterday. This is burner email accounts. Okay, so here's what happened to me yesterday. I wanted to get a free something from a website, but to get the free something from the website, I had to give them my email address, and then they email you the thing. Well, what this does is you create a dummy email address at maildrop.cc. You give them that email address. It sends the email here. You go in. It's completely open, so anybody could theoretically get in. But now if they send any future email, it's going to go to this service instead. And by the way, I think it's something like after 15 days, it kills the account. So if you ever need an email address but you don't want to use yours, burner email address right here. If this, then that. I could spend half an hour just on this. This is you build recipes between services. So for example, I have a simple recipe that says, if I bookmark something to Delicious, also put it in my Digo account. If somebody tags me in a photo on Facebook, automatically download it to my Dropbox. It just hooked up with Fitbit, which is step counter I'm wearing, and the Hue light bulbs to change colors. And you can set up a recipe that says, when I tell my Fitbit I've gotten up, turn on my lights.
Wow.
I mean, this is just, there's infinite possibilities with this service. Huh? Pinterest is available in here too, so you can do things like, somebody tags me in Facebook, send it to Pinterest. Yes. All right, obviously a Pinterest fan over here. Okay, Flux, f.lux. This is a neat little piece of software, Mac, Windows, and Linux, where you install it and will adjust the brightness and the hue of your computer monitor based on time of day. Because the studies have shown that certain types of monitor light will tend to make it harder for you to get to sleep. So when the sun goes down, it dims my monitor and changes the hue of the coloring so that it's completely readable, but I'm not getting the blue light coming into my face right before I go to bed, and things like that. So, and there's lots of settings and adjustments and disabling things you can do with it. Okay, Team Viewer, remote desktop. Okay. I've got lots of computers I want to get from one to the other, especially if I'm on the road. There's lots of services out there that will do this. This one is available for free for personal use, and it works on Mac, PC, and Linux. That was my big thing. Every other service I was trying to use did not work on Linux. This one does. So I can set up my computers, and then I can completely remote desktop into them completely across platform. So you can also pay for some services to do file transfers and things like that, but usually I just want to get to that machine and email myself something or tell it to shut down. Cam Scanner, this is now we're talking apps, phone apps. This is a great little program where you take a picture of a document. Notice that document I took a picture of is at an angle because you can't sit over it. But then you tell it where the four corners of the document are, and then in the middle one it converts it into, and it adjusts the parallax on the document, makes it really readable. You can brighten it, you can rotate it, you can do some basic things. And then over there on the right, I output it as a PDF. So if you want to take pictures of documents and then send it, you can do that. It's a great service. This one's a very similar one, but it's called Unwhiteboard. And the idea is that you take a picture of a whiteboard, and I've just started playing with this. You take a picture of the whiteboard, you email it to the service, it sends you an email back with an attachment on it, and that's the original on the left, and then the bottom right is the result. It tweaks the picture, so theoretically it's easier to read on a screen. Not the best example, but I found out about this last week, so I haven't played with it all that much, but it's got some serious potential. Push Bullet. This one's cool. This one, as far as I can tell, is Android only, so sorry iPhone. But what it allows me to do is take anything I find online, click the Push Bullet bookmarklet, tell it which phone on my account I want to send it to, whether that be my wife's phone or my phone, and then it shows up as an alert and as a savable link on my phone, and then I can click it on my phone and open it up, or I can email it, or I can do whatever. So it's basically sends to Android. There are services that do similar things for iPhones. I just don't have an iPhone, so I don't know any good ones. This is the great one for Android. Okay, keyboard shortcuts. This one shouldn't take long. Cut, copy, and paste for lefties. Lefties that have put their mouse into their left hand Control X, Control V, and Control C are a little difficult if your mouse is on it. Use your right hand, you can do Shift Delete for cut, Control Insert for copy, and Shift Insert for paste. This is a Windows thing. I don't know about Macs. But if so, we have at least one coworker here who I know has put the mouse, switched the buttons and everything. I need to make sure she knows about this. Okay, two browsers. One's Firefox, one's Chrome. Firefox, I believe, on the top, now that they look very similar to each other. If you copy something and then right-click on the URL box in Firefox, there's a service called, instead of just paste, there's paste and go. So the idea is you copy the URL, just do paste and go instead of paste and then pressing enter. In Chrome, it's paste and search. So instead of copying a URL, you copy content, it'll Google search the content that you pasted into the address bar. Okay, find links in Firefox. That bullet point is an apostrophe. If in Firefox, instead of Control F for find, you do an apostrophe, you'll get the find, but it will only find text that you type in hyperlinks, not the whole text of the document. So if you're looking on a very long page to see if there is a link to something, you can apostrophe instead of Control F, and then you're only searching the links, you're not searching the full text. Why apostrophe? I have absolutely no idea. Apostrophe is how it works. So there you go. So it's a bullet point apostrophe. Okay. All right. YouTube keyboard shortcuts. Not a lot of people know that you can control your videos with the keyboard on YouTube. Spacebar is play pause. Your left and right arrows are rewind and fast forward. Forward up and down are volume up and down, and home and end go to the beginning and the end of the video. So if you're a keyboard freak, like a lot of people I know, you can completely control the playback of the video using your arrow keys. And I especially like the rewind and fast forward because sometimes moving that slider is not exactly the most convenient. And very imprecise, exactly. All right, touch freeze. I have had arguments with people over this one, but they're like, I hate my laptop, I hate the touchpad because, well, what happens is suddenly they've clicked the mouse, but they swear they haven't clicked the mouse. Every person I've talked to, I've said, trust me, what you're doing is your wrist is touching the touchpad. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, trust me, it is. I've gone through this.
And that's why I like my touchpad.
Well, what this will do is while you are typing, it will turn off the touchpad. So, a half second after you stop typing, the touchpad will start working again. Installed this on my wife's laptop, and she was suddenly happy with the laptop. She hated the laptop until I installed that. Talked to the comm team. I'm sure Diane has installed it on her desktop in her office. So I'm talking to Krista here. She's like, we need it on these laptops. There you go. All right, selecting words and paragraphs. Most cases, if you double-click, you will select a word. If you triple-click, you will select a whole paragraph. This works on web pages. This works in Word. This works, I think, pretty much Macs also. So instead of trying to drag across a word, or now if you want to select 3 words, you still got to drag. Right. But if you want to select 1 word, you want to select a whole paragraph, double-click or triple-click. Okay. One Word 2013 thing that if you have Word 2013, you may not be aware of it. It has built-in screenshot and embedding right into your document. So instead of having to use separate screenshot software and then copy and paste into Word, you can actually copy the screen and automatically paste it into Word. You find that under Insert and then Screenshot. It is hiding there. It doesn't do a lot of things with the screenshot, but if you just want to screenshot and paste, this can kind of automate that process. Removing hyperlinks in Word. Okay? Yes. Right-click, remove hyperlink. Right-click, remove hyperlink. No. Do a Control-A. That will select your whole document, and then Control-Alt-F9. That will remove all hyperlinks from the document, from any highlighted area. Yay! Control-Alt-F9. So select the whole document, or select part of the document, and then Control-Alt-F9.
And then I can copy and paste it without the hyperlinks.
Without the hyperlinks. Yep.
You just saved me so much time.
Oh, there you go. You're welcome. All right. Okay, this is my last one. We're at 40 already, and I actually want everybody who's listening to go to that URL, strawpoll.me/1720264. This is simple polling software. The screenshot you are seeing here is what the screen looks like when you create it. When you go to that URL, you will see the actual, what you're looking like when you fill it out. Literally, in this case, I asked how many of these tips have you found useful? Less than 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30, or greater than 30. You can put like a dozen different answers in here. You can allow multiple choice if you want. Permissive vote duplication checking is like be less accurate as to if somebody's voting more than once. You click Create Poll. It gives you the URL. You all are now going to that URL. You may put in an answer, and submit it. And then I think because we're going to have some time,
Oh, yeah.
we will show the results in just a minute or two.
I didn't
So-
count.
You didn't count? Well,
I'm not
guess.
supposed to count.
I know. Well, the ranges. I mean, if you thought I knew most of those, well, pick a lower number.
I knew some of them up.
Yeah, so
I knew
anyways.
some I didn't.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So anyways.
now are you going to go?
I will go there, and that's it. That was my last one, so we went a little bit over, but not by much. So, yeah, let me bring up the results of the poll here, and I actually have to copy the URL to do it.
Yeah, so while he's doing this, go to that URL and answer his poll. Tell him what you think.
Right,
And
it's
see,
loading
results. Okay, and I think it will actually live update. So it is live updating, and here's what the results look like. And so I did just see it move. It gives you a nice pie chart over there, and you see it just moved again. So it looks like mid-range is kind of winning here. Some of you may have, useful is a loose term. If you never have to remove hyperlinks from documents, it's not going to be useful for you. But I just wanted to add a little bit of interactivity and show you that one last service to it. So, question, Lisa.
I have a question.
You have a question.
Farah, the
Yes.
package tracking, can it track packages that you send?
Yeah, you just you can manually add a package. So you give it a title and you type in the tracking number, and then it will track what you sent.
That is amazing.
Yep, it does. It will when you forward it emails, or even actually when you just give it a number,
Right.
it knows that UPS numbers look like this, and FedEx numbers look
Right.
like this, and Postal
USPS
Service numbers look like this.
Okay.
Now you can, and it does like DHL and service I've never even heard of. Sometimes it doesn't work as well as I would like. Some services, depending on how well it updates, like yes, you can get a tracking number on first class mail, but it will say it's been shipped, and then you won't get another update till it's been delivered.
Mm-hmm.
There is no tracking in the middle. Sometimes I'll forward it an email, and it will fail to find the number in the email. So I have to go in and say, okay, no, this is the number. But yeah, I think I live and die by package tracking. I don't know why. It's like, yay, it's home, and I won't be home for 6 hours. I feel like sometimes I'm teasing myself that way. But anyways, if you like to package track, it's a great service.
Okay, we do have one question.
Yes.
And it's actually from Andrew Sherm.
Hey, sure.
That
It's
I
like
will,
cheers.
Actually, okay, I'm going to first. Jessica wants to know, are these links going to be in a delicious account somewhere?
Okay.
She wants to
Maybe.
put in the links.
Okay, I will make the slides available. And if it's Farah, Google Farah, and it will come up. If it's straw poll, Google straw poll, and it will come up.
We'll see about putting in some things. I've been wanting
Yeah.
to select the things from all the different presentations for our recordings afterwards, which will be available.
Yeah.
So we'll work on getting it. We'll work on it. Yes, we'll put it in. I'll work on
Okay.
getting it.
I'll admit, I made a conscious decision not to put them in the slides because really most of them are just Google it. It'll be the first thing that comes up, and that's easier than trying to copy URLs. So
And
then Sherman.
so sure, yeah. I'm gonna unmute you, Sherman, because I know you're our next speaker, so you hopefully better have a microphone there. You're unmuted. Yeah. I wanted to know if you could tell us about the one that you mentioned. Sherman, are you there?
Maybe not. Yeah, our volume's up.
Sherman, I've unmuted you if you want to ask about your auto hotkey that you typed in.
This is Sherm, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Yay.
You are. Hi.
Okay. Yep, I just got unmuted, so.
That's okay. But you had asked about the auto hotkey. Can you explain what that is?
Oh, yeah. A utility I use a lot, Michael, I don't know if you used it, is the auto hotkey, a key mouse scripting app where you can write a little script to automate repetitive tasks and then just kick it off and let it run.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I haven't really had the need. I don't do a lot of repetitive tasks, but I totally get the usefulness of it.
Yeah, I use it a lot when I run instances where I've got to make a lot of changes in a system.
Yeah.
And I don't have root level database access where I can go into the tables and mass update. I can basically use an Excel spreadsheet with like, here's the account number and here's the value I want changed, and I can automate that and then just kick it off on a machine and let it run all day and go through and make the changes for me.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's something we've used a lot, like when we want to reorganize our catalog and we have to change every item's call number. we can use a spreadsheet with the item number and the new call number, and then we can just automate opening each MARC record and making that change, and just blast through them automated instead of somebody having to sit there for several days and doing it by hand.
Yeah, luckily or unluckily, I don't know. That's not something I usually do. So, you know, so all right.
So, yeah, 'cause, for example, we redid all of our children's picture books, and we basically updated about 10,000 catalog records in 2 days.
Wow.
Yep. All right, so that's my time. There's my 40 tips and tools, and pretty much I use all of them at least weekly. So, you know, peek into my brain. or work process. Let's not go in there. All right, thank you. I'm done.
All right. Thank you, Michael. All right.